Hello friends, welcome to Helping Testers. So we have gathered some points here which can be considered as a best practices while using JMeter. Please follow them when you are working on real projects. So first of all is delay thread creations until needed in thread. All these points come from real experience, so please follow them. It's not just copy paste from somewhere. You won't find these type of points online. So delay thread creation. So when you go to your JMeter and you had a thread group, so you find an option here, delay thread creation until needed. What it is? For example, you have 400 threads and you are generating in, let's say, 500 settings, let's say 10 minutes, for example. Okay. So how the system works is that in that 10 minutes, they have to generate 400 virtual users. Our system would behave that in the starting only it will create all the 400 users and it will keep utilizing it. So it is unnecessary wasting our system resources because maybe the 400th element is required at the end of 10 minutes. So why a system memory is being wasted for 10 minutes for generation of that user? So by checking on this, we make sure that we create threads only when it is required. No need to create this 400th element or thread in the starting of the script. No, during the end of the script, when it is required, only create at the virtual user at that time only. Okay. The next, use Workbench. So when you are doing any rough activity or you are doing any recording, please use Workbench. There is some reason why the JMeter has given this Workbench, because the data is not saved when you save your script. Also, it is not executed. Anything under the Workbench is not executed. We have seen scenarios when testers are debugging the scripts, they do some changes and it is mistakenly saved on their files, and later on it creating issues. There can be a number of issues, so make sure you are using the Workbench for your rough work. Include and exclude list. Safe to use the exclude list. So when you, not this one, okay. So when we are doing recording, we have an option for include list and exclude list. So include list means that whatever extensions you specify, let's say you give .jpg, so that would be included, and in exclude, let's say you give .png, so these files would be excluded during the recording. So it is always recommended, don't use include list. It is always good to use the exclude list. Okay, don't use this include list because you don't know 100%, you are not 100% sure what the APIs are associated with that page. Once they are present, you can only able to view that it is needed or not. So use the excluded. You are aware which APIs extension you don't need. Don't ever use this include list. Avoid GUI mode for large load. As we have talked before, that GUI mode takes a lot of memory. Also, don't use listeners that are heavy. Okay, so always use non-GUI mode, as it will generate a JTL file and you can import in any of the listener later and you can view it, as we have done before also. Avoid view result tree and table use only for debugging. These type of reports are only helpful while the debugging. They don't give any such scenario that how much load was done or what is the percentage of CPU usage or whatever. They just give pass fail, and it copied whole content of a response. You see that in view result tree it gets all the content, right? So always avoid these type of reports. Use only for debugging purposes. Use loop controllers for same samplers. So you want to execute a same type of activity, don't just copy paste that APIs again and again. Use samplers, use the features, use these loop controlling features for generation of your scenarios. Don't copy paste those APIs again and again. Okay? Use dynamic test data. So it is always recommended, don't use these global variables in your script. Always use CSV files, Excel file for your test data. Now one important thing, for saving listener output, use CSV, disable XML. So if I have a listener here, suppose I want to save this. So you can configure this. As you can see, a lot of things are checked. Okay. So what I'm saying is that this field should be disabled, because when the response is received, from the response JMeter is saving all these things. It is saving the XML, it is saving the success status, so all the status. Always save field names in CSV instead of XML, because XML is very heavy and it takes a lot of memory and time for the same. So whenever request comes, this is all saved, so it takes time also. So that time which is being taken by the save makes that the next request response time is incorrect, maybe some with microseconds. Okay, so make sure this is always unchecked, save as XML. So this was some few points which you should always keep in your mind when you are working with real projects. Okay, so that's all. Thanks for watching this video.